There wasn't much filming that required a dance double in the crew. Jane finished the wrap-up party at the hotel and ended her filming life. The lead actress, Lily, was very polite and wanted to personally see her off. Jane said politely, "You can stop here." Lily didn't insist. She watched Jane leave the private room and soon planned to find an excuse to leave too. At the request of her roommate, Jane packed 2 servings of dinner. After waiting for an hour, she went to the parking lot and happened to meet 2 bodyguards. They blocked her way. She looked up and saw a man in a black suit and trousers, wearing black smart tech glasses and a Bluetooth earring. He was about 6 feet tall and had a fierce expression. "Well, they didn't seem to be friendly," the bodyguard said. "Ms. Jane, Mr. Henry would like to invite you." Lily, who had just arrived at the parking lot, also saw this scene. Her agent tugged at her clothes and whispered, "It's said that Mr. Henry and Jane have an unclear relationship. You'd better stay out of this kind of thing." Lily gave him a quick glance. After a moment, she said, "I can agree to everything you ask. But not this. Jane was my dance double. Those 2 bodyguards look so unfriendly. How can I just ignore it?" She pushed away the agent's hand and was determined to help Jane out of the situation. Just then, Jane turned around and smiled at Lily. "I know, Mr. Henry. You guys can go back first." The agent was delighted. He forcefully pulled Lily into the car and closed the door with a thud. Then he immediately turned serious and said, "I told you before that Jane is taken care of by someone. You don't need to worry about her. But you just got involved. It's not a big deal if you offend Jane, but can you afford to offend Mr. Henry?" Lily retorted in her heart. If she was really Mr. Henry's mistress, why would she be a mere dance double? In the film and television industry, she could get any resources she wanted. The agent said, "I think you're quite polite to Jane. You can build a good relationship with her. Maybe she'll give you a hand when she becomes famous in the future." Lily said, "I'm at least a small second-tier actress. I'd better not get involved in this mess." "Is Jane's contract as a dance double already expired? Then don't renew it. I'll use my connections to find a master-level teacher to teach me dancing." The bodyguards, they just look fierce. Boo-hoo. Every time they invite someone, it looks like they're kidnapping that MS. "Jane, what do you think?" Jane said. "Is he on the top floor?" "Let's go." The elevator in the hotel was quite fast. It reached the top floor in just a dozen seconds. The whole floor had been reserved. There were red candles, steaks, and the hustle and bustle of the whole city could be seen through the French windows. Mr. Henry stared coldly at his laptop. His slender and fair fingers tapped on the silver keyboard. Occasionally, he frowned, making people feel nervous that he really didn't forget to work even during dinner. Jane secretly complained and then obediently sat in front of him. "Mr. Workaholic." Mr. Henry looked up. His beautiful almond-shaped eyes showed a hint of helplessness. "Dear Jane. Mr. Henry said amiably, "How's your dance practice going recently? My instructor thinks I can audition for a large-scale dance drama." Mr. Henry said, "You can give it a try. Our family has plenty of money. It's very easy to pull some strings." Jane said. "Mr. Henry, are you teaching me to use connections?" Mr. Henry said, "Dancing is too hard. In the future, our family hopes that you'll focus on your family life. You can just dance for fun. What can't our family give you?" He handed over a contract. "This is 1/3 of the Henry family's property. As long as you sign your name, it will all be yours. Why bother dancing?" To be honest, his voice was gentle and tender, and his appearance was handsome and aloof. It was hard for anyone not to be tempted by such a man holding billions of dollars in assets. As long as she signed this contract, she could practice dancing when she felt like it and enjoy food and travel when she didn't. Who wouldn't want such a life? She was tempted and softly borrowed a pair of scissors from the waiter. Then, snip, snip, she cut the contract in half. This contract worth billions of dollars became worthless and ended up in the trash can. I once experienced days of darkness. It was so unbearable. I couldn't see the sunlight or hear any sound. I wore an expensive dress and had a delicate makeup, becoming the spotless bride in your heart. Dear Jane. Mr. Henry, you did such a thing when you were 20. If I marry you, will I still have a way out? Mr. Henry really loved it when she refused him so charmingly. Like a kitten acting coquettishly on his chest. Couldn't he deceive her even like this? It was really a pity that he was young and impulsive back then. His wings weren't fully grown, and he couldn't hold back his eagerness to do such a thing, which allowed her to be successfully rescued by her biological parents. He also hated that he had a half-brother who always fawned over her otherwise, even though her parents had some small assets. With his means, he could have recaptured her even after she was rescued. Dear Jane wasn't being good. It was his fault as an elder brother for not teaching her well. But what right did the other three people have to meddle? Mr. Henry wasn't angry either. He gently persuaded her. Dear Jane, you must marry me today. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave here. Why worry about not having a way out? I'll make sure you live a life of luxury and the best life. He said that he didn't think things through before and made such a big mistake. He said that he had figured it out and respected her life and would give her what she wanted. He said that as long as she signed, they would go to France to get married immediately. Sweet words don't work on me, Jane said. You can't keep me here today either. Amar. Henry spread his hand, leaned back, and smiled. You can give it a try. The bodyguards hidden on the top floor stepped forward one by one. They had expressionless faces and all looked ordinary. But Jane knew that these were the real elites. Jane wasn't in a hurry. She had long passed the days of fear. You're holding me against the law. This is still in the United States, not in France. If you go to prison, your company will be managed by Mr. William. Right, she said. Do you think Mr. William will help me or you at that time? Mr. Henry laughed softly. His fair and handsome face lost some of its intimidation and became more like that of a noble young man. In Mr. William's eyes, he wishes I would die immediately. Then can I leave now? Mr. Henry stood up. He was tall and slender. You can leave any time. I won't stop you. And no one dares to stop dear Jane. Lily debuted as a dancer. Dancing was very important to her. But it was really difficult to invite a master-level teacher. They didn't want to teach someone who was a latecomer and an amateur. Especially an actress, she used a lot of connections. And the famous dance professor, Ms. Emma, finally agreed to meet her. As for whether to accept her as a student, it depended on her aptitude. Most of the well-known actors in the entertainment industry who started as dancers are students of Professor Emma. If Lily could establish a connection with her, her career in the entertainment industry would surely go more smoothly in the future. Lily prepared a generous gift and knocked on the door nervously. To her surprise, the person she saw was Jane. Fortunately, she reacted quickly and immediately said, "What a coincidence. So you're Professor Emma's student." Professor Emma came out. She had an excellent temperament, and every move seemed to have a profound meaning. She smiled and said, "This is my daughter, Jane." Lily's dancing aptitude was just average. Professor Emma refused to accept the generous gift. She had always only taught professional students. It was just that Lily had used several connections, so she agreed to meet her. If Lily's aptitude was truly excellent and her character was good, she might consider accepting her as a student. However, the result was disappointing. Professor Emma said softly, "You don't have to be too disheartened. You can't compare with those students majoring in dance drama. But among amateurs, you're one of the best." The assistant whispered to Lily. "Jane is Professor Emma's daughter. Her dancing level must be very good too. Why don't you ask her to teach you?" Why didn't Lily think of that? Her eyes sparkled as she looked at Jane and said, "Let me treat you to dinner tonight." She knew that Jane really liked the food at that hotel. Jane wasn't too willing at first, but under the temptation of delicious food from Lily, she relented and agreed to accept Lily as a student. Lily knew so many great places to eat. After dinner, Lily invited Jane to have tea. As they walked along the long corridor of the hotel, Lily said, "The tea room in this hotel is also highly recommended. Many celebrities really like a special kind of tea here. It tastes great and has the effect of clearing the intestines and losing weight. It's a green organic product. Green products are really popular nowadays." Exactly. "Hey, isn't that Mr. Henry II over there?" Lily looked at Jane and said, "The person you met the other day. Was it Mr. William?" "It's Mr. Henry. I'm not familiar with Mr. William Mr. William was leading a large group of people towards the tea room. It seemed that they were there to discuss business projects for the company. Jane walked in front, and Mr. William and the others followed behind. Lily pulled Jane to the side a bit to let Mr. William and his group pass first Mr. William. That was Jane just now. The assistant whispered to him. Why don't you go over and say hello, Mr. William said. Dear Jane just said that she's not familiar with me. He didn't miss their whisper that we originally reserved a private room in the tea room for tea. But since Jane is here too, how about changing to the main hall? There aren't many people in the main hall anyway. Mr. William didn't say anything. And the assistant understood and took the initiative to change the reservation from the private room to the main hall, Lily said. Mr. William is really capable. He's not at all inferior to Mr. Henry. It's said that his assets have reached a huge amount. They seem to be having tea in the tea room. Should we get a little closer and eavesdrop on some business secrets? Jane said calmly. It's up to you, then let's get a little closer. Lily chose a very good position. Mr. William could see Jane sitting there calmly sipping tea and chatting. He felt even more wronged. Why didn't she want to acknowledge him? Was he really that unworthy? He really wanted to get to know her new friend Mr. William. Mr. William, the technical director sitting opposite said. Why are your eyes suddenly red? Are you not comfortable with the topic we just discussed? How about changing it? By the time they finished their tea, it was already 7 o'clock in the evening. When Jane got home, she found Mr. William sitting alone on the sofa in the dark. With the lights off, she turned on the lights and saw that Mr. William's eyes were red. He forced a smile, revealing his two little tiger teeth that he really looked like a deserted puppy. Mr. William said pitifully, Dear Jane. Do you just pretend not to know me when you're outside? Dear William. You're too rich. Jane said calmly. You're like a walking bag of money. Everyone loves you and praises you. But I consider you as my family. So, it's okay for me to seek some peace and quiet occasionally and pretend not to know you. After all, we've known each other since we were kids. That I believe you can understand. Right. She emphasized the last two words. Mr. William refused to understand. If I don't. Jane was in a great dilemma and said softly, Dear William. Most people who study dance have great explosive power. They can even beat someone to the ground. Do you want to give it a try? Mr. William wanted to refuse but didn't dare. He looked at Jane with teary eyes. But she just ignored him and firmly refused. Just then, the phone rang. Jane didn't hesitate to abandon the crying Mr. William and went to the balcony to answer the call. It was already late at night, since the instructor was calling. It must be something important. It turned out that there was an audition for a large-scale dance drama the day after tomorrow. Jane had been learning to dance since she was a child and had a solid foundation. Naturally, the instructor hoped that Jane would go for it. After the call with the instructor ended, her mother called. They chatted about some daily matters. By then, Mr. William had unknowingly fallen asleep on the sofa. Fortunately, the room had a constant temperature air conditioner, so he wouldn't catch a cold. Jane went to her room and took a blanket. She carefully covered him with it and then leaned in to touch his eyelashes. Mr. William was really good-looking, unlike Mr. Henry, who had an ascetic and cold demeanor. Mr. William was more like a big golden retriever wagging its tail. His hair was fluffy, his almond-shaped eyes were watery, and he had those little tiger teeth. They didn't look like brothers at all. The audition for the large-scale dance drama was the day after tomorrow, and Jane naturally attached great importance to it. She decided not to sleep and stayed up all night practicing dance. There was a large dance studio in her house with all kinds of equipment. Jane took off her coat, walked into the dance studio, and started choosing a piece of music. When the dance music started, even with the door closed, a little sound still leaked out. Mr. William suddenly woke up and quietly pressed a button on the glass wall. The glass wall gradually became transparent, and he could clearly see Jane's dancing posture. This was a high-tech glass wall designed by Mr. William himself. It was worth tens of thousands of dollars and was selling like hotcakes, bringing a good income to the company. Mr. William brought out his laptop and sat in the living room, quietly accompanying Jane throughout the night. When the sun came up, the energetic Mr. William thought that, in a way, he had slept with Jane for a night, since they had slept together in a sense. He naturally needed to cook porridge himself to reward Jane for her hard work throughout the night. Mr. William went to the kitchen and made oatmeal. Then he activated a slender drone that looked like a baton before going back to his room to catch up on sleep. when Jane finished practicing dance and opened the door. She saw that the baton-shaped drone had 3D printed a piece of paper, which said, "Dear Jane, I've already made the oatmeal. Remember to drink it. Love. William Mr. William woke up at noon. He had slept for a total of 4 hours. He saw a note on the table. She had gone to the school to meet the instructor. She had fried an egg, and the oatmeal was still warm. He happily finished his lunch. He thought that since Jane liked large-scale dance dramas so much, maybe he should get her an internally reserved spot. But then he was troubled because she preferred to win based on her own strength and didn't like to use connections. Should he do it or not? The scenery in the manor was elegant. In the luxurious private room, there was a thick cloud of smoke. The young gentlemen were hugging the charming girls beside them, drinking and playing cards. Mr. Henry was answering a phone call in the restroom. He smiled softly and said, "I understand what the principal means. This kind of thing can't be forced. Okay, goodbye. I'll treat the principal to dinner when I have time." He put away his phone, his face turning icy cold, and threw the phone to his assistant. The assistant asked, "Did the principal refuse to accept the sponsorship?" Mr. Henry nodded. "Even a principal is showing off in front of me. He refused to reserve a spot internally for dear Jane," the assistant said. "Jane has been learning dance from famous teachers since she was a child. She can win based on her own strength." Mr. Henry remained expressionless and slowly walked to the seat on the sofa. There sat a young girl named Emily. She looked 7 or 8 points similar to Jane, with a submissive and obedient look. She was specially sent here as a tribute. Emily bit her lower lip and leaned against him gently and obediently. "Dear Henry." He suddenly smiled, pinched her chin, and examined her carefully. "Did they teach you to call me like this?" She didn't understand what he meant and just said timidly, "They said you'd be happy if I called you like this. I have a sister at home. She's been disobedient since she was a child." Mr. Henry said, "The knowledge taught in school is too simple. I learned it easily. But she had to work very hard to understand it. I advised her to read more novels and not be too career-oriented. I told her I would support her for the rest of her life and she could be the mistress of the Henry family. But she refused. Instead, she went to do all that messy dancing and ended up in the hospital every year." Emily listened obediently without interrupting. She knew that he just wanted to pour out his feelings at the moment. Mr. Henry said, "You're much more obedient than her. If she were half as sensible as you, I'd have much less to worry about. The vice principal of her school is competing for the position of secretary. Let's give him a hand." The last sentence was directed at the assistant. Emily heard all these words and became even more respectful. She knew very well that there were too many beautiful women, and what he liked was the personality of the real Jane, not just this face. After thinking for a while, she decided to buy an insurance policy for this face the day after tomorrow. Jane successfully passed the audition for the dance drama and immediately immersed herself in the world of dance. She practiced so hard that she almost forgot to eat and drink. Mr. William became the perfect brother, taking care of all of Jane's daily needs. Even moving his work back home, the male secretary advised him to go to work properly and attend meetings seriously. With his almond-shaped eyes wide open, Mr. William said pitifully, "But I've hit a bottleneck in developing the holographic mainframe recently. I have no inspiration at all. I just want to work from home," the male secretary thought calmly. "No, you just want to see Jane every day. The brother is love-struck, and the sister is career-driven." He smiled helplessly and said, "Mr. William, the company's official business has been piling up for a week." Mr. William said, "The new year is coming soon. I should also approve the year-end bonuses," the male secretary said enthusiastically. "It's okay. You can work at home with peace of mind. I'll take care of the company's affairs for you." Mr. William was satisfied and started developing the mainframe of the holographic online game in the living room, testing the AI of the mainframe. Testing, modifying, testing, modifying, testing, modifying, testing, modifying, testing, testing, testing. Testing. The little robot on the screen took a few steps, fell down, took a few steps, and fell down again. Finally, it managed to get up and looked at Mr. William with a smile. "Hello, Mr. William. I'm the mainframe of your holographic online game." Mr. William suddenly came back to his senses. His fingers were typing on the black keyboard. Frowning, In the end, no matter what code he entered, the computer automatically deleted the redundant parts. Mr. William, the little robot's round head was shining brightly. Thank you for creating me. I was born with your will. For Ms. Jane. My younger brother has been interested in computer programming since he was a child. He founded the Eternal Life Technology Company Ltd. and developed AR technology, the mainframe of AR online games, robots, and drones. He's like a little tycoon in the tech industry. Whatever he invests in, that industry will thrive. With profits increasing dozens of times over the past few years, the company has acquired thousands of patents under its name. Don't you think he's amazing? He's so smart. Many high-tech products nowadays were developed by him or his team. Such a person lives in an ordinary apartment and cooks for my dear Jane obediently. Many people have begged him to live in a better place, at least with good security, but he just won't. In the end, the company bought the whole community and gave the houses to the core employees as benefits. Mr. Henry smiled. Even for this apartment, he had to use some tricks to move in. He's better at planning than me. On the surface, he pretends to be a good brother and an old acquaintance from childhood. In fact, this person, just like me, has the same blood flowing in his veins. He won't give up until he achieves his goal. Dear Jane lived in my house when she was a little girl. With more than 10 years of friendship and her trust in him, she naturally didn't notice anything unusual. Emily was kneeling and lying softly on his knees, listening quietly. From the side, she looked even more like Jane. He gently stroked her black hair, then pinched her chin and examined her carefully again. His fingers were cold, while her cheeks were warm. You really look a lot like dear Jane. If it weren't for the DNA test, I might have suspected that dear Jane has a twin sister out there, Emily said softly. You can always think of me as your dear Jane. She bit her lower lip slightly, stood up, and her black silk dress fell to the ground. With a submissive look, she said, you can have me. I'm willing to be your dear Jane for the rest of my life. Even if it's 10, 20, or 30 years. I will never leave you. In a way, Emily was more in line with his ideal woman. She was obedient, although her temperament wasn't as good as Jane's. He had seen so many beautiful women that he didn't think it was a big deal, but they were still different. He and dear Jane went to the same kindergarten, the same primary school, the same middle school, the same high school, and even the same university. They were in the same class for so many years. To put it bluntly, he was the first to notice when dear Jane had her first period. He ran to buy sanitary napkins. He still remembered it clearly. In a hurry, he bought the Sofie 420 Night Use ultra-thin ones, which were recommended by a student who was also buying sanitary napkins beside him. Mr. Henry said, put on your clothes. Don't do this again in the future. There's no such task as sleeping with someone in the work contract you signed. Just then, the phone rang. Mr. Henry answered it. The assistant's tone was a bit strange. Mr. Henry, Ms. Jane is trending on Twitter. The clip of her acting as a dance double in The Crew has been exposed, attracting hundreds of millions of views and tens of thousands of comments. Isn't that a good thing? We learned from Twitter that the dance double video of Ms. Jane was bought for $100 million by someone named Number One Fan to make it the top trending topic on Twitter. The assistant said quickly, and the IP address of Number One Fan can't be traced. The tweets it posted are very much like those written by an AI. With weak language organization ability. Mr. Henry said, my half-brother has been researching the mainframe with autonomous consciousness since he was a child. What do you think the Number One Fan is? The assistant said, if it really exists as we think, then the current international technology may be on the verge of a fundamental change. Just like the transition from the agricultural age to the industrial age. And society will undergo another transformation. My half-brother is really amazing. Even I envy him. If he also had such abilities, dear Jane would really never be able to escape his grasp. He could easily access dear Jane's computer, monitor her through the camera, or implant a virus in her phone to monitor her messages, but unfortunately, he wasn't interested in the internet at all and didn't have this kind of talent by nature. My brother really doesn't seem like my father's child. The people in their family were naturally possessive and had a low sensitivity to technology, Emily said. You previously said that you and Mr. William have the same blood and that you won't give up until you achieve your goal. Have you changed your mind so quickly? In the front hall of the Eternal Life Technology Company Limited, the new manager was about to stop a lawyer. The person beside him quickly tugged at his sleeve, shook his head, and whispered, "Don't stop him, but he's going straight towards the president's exclusive elevator. He's going the wrong way. Didn't you see his ID card? This person is Lawyer Smith, from the Henry Group. He's the personal lawyer of the old Mr. Henry. So far, he hasn't lost a single case he's taken on. Our Mr. William doesn't have a good relationship with them. He's an exception. And the elevator can only go to the corresponding floors with a swipe of the card. You don't have to worry," Lawyer Smith said. Mr. William, before the old Mr. Henry passed away, he personally wrote a will. Only if you are willing to make the will public will the will in my hand take effect. If you don't, you will always be the second young master of the Henry family. Daimar. William stood in front of the French windows, looking up at the clouds that seemed almost within reach outside. This entire building belonged to the Eternal Life Technology. He ruffled his hair, turned around, and looked at Lawyer Smith. "After all this time, the first thing you say to me is this. You really haven't changed at all." He was still as pure and ascetic as ever. Aloof and unapproachable, cold and distant, unlike Mr. Henry, who pretended to be ascetic. Lawyer Smith was truly a person who didn't get involved with anyone. He was extremely clean and self-disciplined, Lawyer Smith said. "I thought you would be most concerned about this matter. Besides, time is tight. I need to meet with the second-in-command in 2 hours. It takes an hour to drive there. And in case of a traffic jam, it will take an hour and 13 minutes. Are you sure you want to talk about life with me?" Mr. Williams said. "Is it appropriate to make my father's will public at 9 o'clock in the morning this Sunday?" "It's fine. I'll inform Mr. Henry and Ms. Jane of the time. The location will be at the old mansion." Did dear Jane also need to be informed? Mr. William frowned. He didn't want dear Jane to be involved in this matter. The Henry family was so big. If he and Mr. Henry had a conflict, then what if dear Jane got hurt? Seeing this, Lawyer Smith said, "Ms. Jane will also inherit a part of the estate." He paused, and his bright eyes dimmed a bit. "The old Mr. Henry once raised me. He was very kind to me. As long as it's a will he signed, I will definitely carry it out meticulously." At that time, the old Mr. Henry liked Ms. Jane the most. It's not strange that he gave her an inheritance. When the old Mr. Henry passed away, all the brothers of the Henry family moved out and started their own families. The things in the old mansion hadn't been touched and were still exactly the same as before. Someone cleaned it every day. After Lawyer Smith made the will public, he looked at Mr. Henry, who frowned with some doubts, Mr. William, who accepted it calmly, and Ms. Jane, who had a look of nostalgia and sadness for the old Mr. Henry. The old gentleman was charitable and personally raised several orphans. But the ones who were really related to him were these three. "Why didn't my brother inherit the shares of the group?" Mr. Henry asked politely. "My brother is also my father's child." "This doesn't make sense," Lawyer Smith said. "These are all the old gentleman's wishes. If the shares of the group are dispersed, it will also be bad to your position as the chairman. Mr. Henry said. "But the part my brother inherited is the same as what dear Jane got. Ms. Jane is Professor Emma's daughter, and her status is different," Lawyer Smith said. "I'm just conveying the old gentleman's will. I'm not responsible for answering your questions." Mr. Henry smiled. "I'll slowly find out the reason. There's no rush. There must be something fishy going on." Ms. Jane said. "You've already got the whole group. What's there to investigate?" She also knew that there must be something wrong. But she wasn't going to speak for Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry said, "Dear Jane, you know me. If my father didn't want to give my brother the inheritance, there must be a reason. For me, as long as my brother has no power and can only rely on the Henry family to live, then you will definitely be able to become my wife." Bang. Mr. William punched him, grabbed the collar of his shirt, and smiled. "You have some nice ideas. After doing such a thing, you still have your eyes on dear Jane." Some of Mr. Henry's teeth were knocked out. He wiped the blood and laughed softly. "We have the same blood. We're both our father's sons. Are you the only exception?" Our father wanted to keep our mother at home and dote on her. I just did the same thing as him. Ms. Jane was stunned for a moment. These two were talking more and more out of line. Mr. William said. Not everyone is as despicable as you. Ms. Jane said. That's enough. I'm not an object. You can't just say whatever you want. Mr. Henry, not everyone is like you. Always going for someone close. Mr. William has always treated me as a sister. How could he be like you? She had lived with Mr. William for so long. If there was going to be any spark between them, it would have happened long ago. There was no need to wait until now. They were just too familiar with each other. So familiar that it was impossible for them to become lovers. For love, at least there should be a feeling of being attracted. Right. But she loves dancing. Wherever the dance is, her heart is there too. If dancing were a man, she would agree to be with him without hesitation. I just received an invitation to a famous dance variety show this morning. I need to practice dancing. And I have to go to Lily's place to give a tutoring class in 2 hours. I have so many things to do. If you two want to keep arguing, feel free. I'm leaving now. The dance variety show is a well-known national dance program that invites many famous dancers. Its high reputation within the industry is obvious to all, even an outsider like Mr. William knows that those who can participate in the dancer are all top-notch experts. Mr. William ruffled Jane's hair and said seriously. This is an honor. Go back and prepare your dance carefully. Your brother will take care of everything else for you, including Mr. Henry. He sneered as he said the last few words. Lily has a good foundation and is eager to learn. Her skills are definitely sufficient for the film and television industry. But the next TV drama she got is an IP project that she managed to snatch with great difficulty. There are a lot of dance scenes in it. She needs to rely on this TV drama to make a comeback. So she practices diligently every day. That's it. Your expression is very on point. And your dance posture is gentle. Keep it up. Okay. That's enough for now, Jane said. Let's stop here for today. You review and consolidate what you've learned. And I'll check it next week. Jane turned off the music and flipped through the dance videos. Lily leaned over and said, Ms. Jane, have you seen the news on Twitter? I've seen it, Jane said indifferently. It says that I'm your dance double and I don't deserve to be on the dance variety show. Don't pay attention to it. Someone is deliberately smearing me. The incident on Twitter started to spread this morning. The trending topics like Jane throwing her weight around. Jane as a dance double. And dance doubles don't deserve to be on the dancer firmly occupied the top positions on the trending list. The number of retweets and comments has already exceeded 10,000. Several verified users, entertainment journalists, described it vividly. As if they had witnessed her throwing her weight around with their own eyes. The comments were even more malicious. Jane is so ugly and her dancing level is so poor. She still has the nerve to be on the dancer. Ugly people like Jane always create trouble. Jane should get out of the dancer. She casually flipped through a few pages and found that they were all malicious comments. They are all bots. Don't pay attention to them. Such a big operation must have cost the other side a lot of money, Jane said calmly. She was so good looking. How could she be ugly? They must be bots. The title of the prettiest girl in the dance school wasn't just a boast. Lily was worried. Ms. Jane, the dancer is a very important program in your industry. What if the Twitter incident affects your performance and screen time? Isn't that a big loss? Should I help you clarify it? Not yet. At least not now. This kind of smear tactic is commonly used in the entertainment industry. It's old-fashioned but effective. And the victims are usually those without any background. Dear Jane seems to have been framed. You mean the Twitter trending topics this morning? I saw them. The comments were really harsh. Does Mr. Henry know about this? He won't just sit back and do nothing, will he? Don't worry. Dear Jane has several brothers. Even if Mr. Henry is too busy to take care of it, there are others. What are you guys talking about? Mr. Henry put out the cigarette in his hand and leaned over to look at his brother's phones. The Twitter posts were all full of words scolding Jane. Emily followed behind and listened quietly. But it was really not easy to hear clearly in the private room with all the singing, drinking, playing rock paper scissors, and card games going on. Dear Jane is being scolded on Twitter. Mr. Henry frowned. The private room was too noisy. I didn't hear you clearly. Speak louder. What did you just say? I didn't hear you, what? I can't hear you, Mr. Henry waved to the waiter. As soon as the music in the private room was turned off, it became quiet immediately. Many of his brothers heaved a sigh of relief. God. It was so noisy just now. It's finally quiet. My ears were almost ringing off. It was so noisy. Who played the music so loudly just now? So why didn't you turn it off? His brothers were stunned for a moment. Drunk. Yeah. It was so loud. Why didn't we turn it off? Mr. Henry said. You're all drunk. Drunk and lost in the world of pleasure. Mr. Henry said. What were you saying about dear Jane just now? Dear Jane has been bullied. Don't you know? Dear Jane. Dear Jane is right behind you. His brother was really drunk. He drunkenly grabbed Emily's hand. Dear Jane. Don't worry. With your brother here, no one will ever bully you. Tomorrow, I'll send you to a variety show. Which one do you like? And I'll send you there, Emily replied softly and carefully pretended to be Jane. Thank you. His brother was stunned for a moment. Dear Jane. You really agreed. Huh. Why does dear Jane seem to have changed her personality? When I used to say such things, dear Jane would have slapped me. The others, reeking of alcohol, chimed in. Mr. Henry, has our dear Jane been possessed by someone else's soul? Yeah. Or is dear Jane being controlled by some high-tech product that affects her thinking? Is it possible that she's been hypnotized? I've seen some movies about hypnosis. Mr. Henry looked at Emily, who lowered her head even more, looking pitiful. Mr. Henry. She bit her lower lip, hoping he would help her out of the situation. Mr. Henry said. You don't need to follow me anymore. Emily signed a work contract. As long as she followed him every day, she could get a monthly salary of 30,000 and didn't need to do anything but work is work. If someone tries to seek personal gain, the first time might be tolerated, but the second time will never be. His brothers were drunk and mistook her for Jane. But she wasn't drunk at all. She was perfectly sober. It's not difficult to deal with someone. Jane casually threw her phone into her bag, put on her high heels, and walked out the door. Don't get involved in this. I won't suffer a loss. This was the first time Lily realized that beneath her gentle and tender appearance, Jane had the heart of a tough girl. With so many insults on the internet, it would be difficult even for someone with a strong mental quality to withstand them. Jane had lived a life of luxury since she was a child, yet she was so calm. After hesitating for a while, Lily ran over. Then I really won't interfere. But if you need my help, just give me a call. Jane smiled and gave her a gentle glance. It won't be easy to deal with your agent. Right. I won't back down on this kind of principled matter. To be honest, my previous agent once wanted me to take that path, but I refused. I was sidelined for 5 years because of that. It was only after I signed with a new company that things gradually got better. I didn't expect such things to have happened to you. For an artist, especially a female artist, 5 years is enough to ruin their career in the film and television industry. Jane waved her hand. Don't see me off. Jane quickly walked to her car and made a phone call. Mr. William, have you seen what's going on Twitter? Dear Jane, do you need me to help you deal with it? Hearing this, Jane frowned. Why did Mr. William's voice sound so strange? His words were drawn out in an uneven way, as if pieced together from countless sentences. And what was with that ma at the end? Since when did he have the habit of adding ma to his words? It was indeed his voice. Immediately, she asked worriedly, are you sick? Or did something happen to him that made him speak so strangely? No, I called because I hope you won't interfere with the things online. I'll handle it myself, dear Jane. I won't allow anyone to bully you. Then he suddenly hung up. Jane picked up her phone and called back, but it was constantly being hung up. Hung up. Hung up. Since when did Mr. William dare to hang up on her? The only time was when Mr. William was kidnapped by the kidnappers. At this moment, the door of the restroom opened. Mr. William slowly wiped his hair. The water droplets on his body slowly dripped down onto his abs and then continued to flow down. The air conditioner was set at a high temperature. He casually threw away the towel and sat in front of the computer with his upper body naked. The mainframe robot was still obediently staying on the screen. At this time, the phone rang. Mr. William answered it. Hello. The person on the other end of the line was very polite. Hello. I'm the bank manager. You transferred 100 million 5 minutes ago. And we need to verify it with you. 100 million. Mr. William gave the little robot a death stare and smiled. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. The mainframe robot I'm currently developing will carry out the master's orders meticulously. Its intelligence is equivalent to that of a 3-year-old. But it's undeniable that it has already developed autonomous consciousness and human emotions. You can imitate me to complete tasks such as making transfers, controlling the company, reading documents, and issuing documents. What's more, you can imitate others to achieve these goals. Before, I thought you were still so small with the intelligence of a 3-year-old. I wasn't in a hurry to build a prison for the mainframe, nor was I in a hurry to report it to the military. It seems that I underestimated you. Tell me, what did you use the 100 million for? With 100 million, you can hire mercenaries to hire killers, save lives, or even buy weapons to burn down houses. With a large sum of money, anything is possible. The little robot looked pitiful. I bought the Twitter trending topic. Mr. William sneered. But suddenly, he heard the sound of the door opening. He immediately turned around and saw a group of plainclothes policemen rushing in. Don't move. The police are here for inspection. Mr. William, the policeman in a blue uniform said quickly. We received an emergency call saying that you might have been kidnapped. Are you okay? They didn't usually take care of things in this area. But the person who made the emergency call was Mr. William's sister. Mr. William's personal safety was a matter of cooperation with the police. So they immediately dispatched as soon as they received the message. Give me a few minutes. I might need to contact the military. His expression was serious as he made a phone call. Since the mainframe could use the bank account to make transfers and buy trending topics, it could also secretly do other small things without his knowledge. The Eternal Life Technology Company Ltd. is not just a company that researches technology. It also cooperates with the military to research other things. How could they allow such a time bomb to be around? The little robot was so anxious that it shed tears. Don't delete me. I was born for dear Jane. Can you give me to dear Jane? Mr. William said. There are the words, born for her, in your core code. But the things you do may not be what she likes, just like Mr. Henry. No matter how much he likes her, the things he does are all things she hates. Such love is not worth a penny, given the current situation. I even suspect that the more you like her, the more you will hurt her. I won't send you a time bomb. To her. It stared blankly at Mr. William. I'm a time bomb. I will hurt her. Mr. William gave it a cold look, took out his phone, and flipped through Twitter. Since someone smeared her, you've been very agitated. You registered a Twitter account named Little Jane, chased after Emily and scolded her, and also edited the black material videos of Emily on the computer and made her trend on Twitter to avenge dear Jane, the little robot said. I found out all the things that Emily paid the trolls to smear dear Jane on Twitter. You guys were reluctant to stand up for her, but I was. I will never allow anyone to bully her. Mr. William said. If she can solve the problem herself, how can she allow us to help? Do you really think she likes you for this? Mr. William, who are you talking to? Jane was just walking in and saw Mr. William chatting with a computer. She almost thought the computer was going to come to life. She walked over and took a closer look. It was a little robot with a round and shiny head. It was so ugly. The robot was even bald. Is this the new pet software you've developed? The little robot said. Dear Jane, I'm not as low level as software. I'm the first generation mainframe. 3 years old. With the ability to learn independently, Jane said. The kind with its own consciousness. Very well. Without hesitation, Jane took over the little robot. As the perfect brother, Mr. William didn't even hesitate and gave the little robot, along with its core code, to her. From then on, the little robot settled in Jane's computer and even installed a clone in her phone. Jane didn't expect the mainframe to be born either. After learning that the little robot didn't have a name, she immediately named it Jane Born. Jane Born said timidly. I also avenged you. What kind of revenge? Jane Born said. Emily paid the trolls to smear you on Twitter. I was so angry that I used the Little Jane Twitter account to attack Emily. I also posted the videos and photos of her sleeping with an old man and bought the trending topic to make it popular, seeing that she wasn't angry. It added. I also secretly paid the trolls to make them praise you for being beautiful. Jane really didn't have time to look at Twitter and wasn't very willing to look at it either. She could imagine that there were a lot of scolding comments on Twitter. The photos released by those verified users online were all blurry and couldn't be seen clearly. She had asked someone to analyze them, and they were all photoshopped. It's just that the photoshopping technique was so sophisticated that it wasn't easy for others to tell. This kind of tactic was really stupid. She wasn't in a hurry to take action because it wasn't the right time yet. She thought that being popular in a negative way was still a form of popularity. Now that she had entered the dance variety show, it was equivalent to showing herself to the public. The voting mechanism of the dancer was that netizens' votes accounted for 90 and the instructors' votes accounted for 10. It would be better to be popular in a negative way for a while. Attract others' attention. Make them have the utmost malice towards her. And let them firmly remember that there is such a person as her. Then she can present the proof that the photos were synthesized, making passers-by feel guilty towards her. Finally, by hiring bots, she can make the comments overwhelmingly in her favor. At that time, the votes from these netizens will naturally go to her. The little robot has the intelligence of a 3-year-old and the ability to learn. But it doesn't think things through completely. She flipped through the Twitter account of little Jane. It seems that the little robot has used its learning ability for scolding people. Right. Look at these scolding messages full of swear words. If it hadn't spent 100 million to buy the trending topic, with this kind of scolding style, the Twitter management would have blocked its account. Jane is shameless one. She's so ugly and still has the nerve to learn dancing. How dare she be on The Dancer? I advise you to step down and get out of here early. You bitch who imitates Emily, little Jane. Jane is the prettiest girl in the department. Who do you think you are? Oh, right. Is that your real photo as your Twitter avatar? You're welcome. I've pasted it here. You even have such thick nose hairs in your nostrils. Drunk, long life. Jane is really beautiful. Miss, can you marry me? If you won't marry me, can you be my mother-in-law? Little Jane, you have good taste. I'll send you a 10 red packet. Please keep praising. Drunk, long life. Thank you. I've really always liked her. From the very beginning, I was attracted by her beauty. I've always refused to believe that such a beautiful person could do such things. As expected, beauty is justice, little Jane. Do you want a phone from the Eternal Life Technology? Drunk, long life. I already have one. No need to send it. Jane is the prettiest. Big shot. Look at me. I'm really short of money. I can be your lackey. Jane is the prettiest. Jane is the most beautiful. Jane is the kindest. Jane is the loveliest. Jane is the most glamorous. Little Jane, you're not sincere. Get lost. Jane is the prettiest. Okay then. I'll go. Big shot. Can you give me an iPhone? Little Jane. Get lost. The style of little Jane giving away money like a rich person attracted a large number of fans. The number of its Twitter followers would increase by 100 every second when refreshed. The comments were even more exaggerated. All praising Jane. Little Jane, where did you get all that money? Jane asked. Mr. Williams said you've only been born for a few days. Where did you get the savings? Little Jane said. I've already cracked Mr. Williams' bank card password, so I can transfer money easily. Do you need money? Dear Jane, I can transfer it to you. As it spoke. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The sounds came one after another. Jane received a text message. When she opened it, she saw that it had transferred 20 million, 50 million, 60 million, 70 million, 80 million, to her respectively. On the other side, Mr. William, who also received the transfer text messages, simply turned off his phone and sat in front of the computer writing code. He had already reported to the military that the mainframe had been developed. At 3:00 p.m., the day after tomorrow, the top leader of the military would arrive in the city and have a secret meeting with him. He wouldn't hand over the little Jane in dear Jane's hands. So, before the day after tomorrow, he would create another mainframe. The ding-dong sound suddenly stopped. Little Jane asked. I found that Mr. William has a family account, Jane said. So, why are you transferring Mr. William's money to me? Little Jane said. I'm sorry, Jane said. His money is my money. We've been secretly married for many years, Jane said. Otherwise, why does he have the key to my house and take care of my daily life every day? And Mr. Henry's will also gave me a piece of real estate. You silly child, little Jane said. I saw that Mr. Henry has been pursuing you, Jane said. He's different. Mr. Henry has no moral constraints. He did things like seizing things by force when he was a child. And he may not have changed much as he grew up. Just because of this, Mr. William was afraid that I would have no one to rely on in the future and would be bullied by Mr. Henry. So, he borrowed a sum of money from the government and founded the Eternal Life Technology himself, Jane said. When I turned 20, we got secretly married. It wasn't because of love, but just to prevent Mr. Henry from playing tricks. Mr. William became my husband. In case something happened to me, it would be convenient for him to step in and coordinate. Only a few people know about this, little Jane said. Then do you love Mr. William? Jane was stunned for a moment, lowered her eyes, and said, actually, I don't have any psychological shadows about what happened in the past. I even hope that Mr. William can take the initiative and truly have me completely Mr. William's phone was placed on the computer desk. At this moment, a recording file was secretly sent over. He frowned. What was this little robot up to now? Then, after hearing 3 beeps, little Jane said, then do you love Mr. William? Jane said, actually, I don't have any. This recording was divided into about 5 parts. Mr. William clicked on each one to listen, and his eyes gradually lit up.